Thank you for tuning in to KTOWN Social Club again. We're, it's been a couple of days since our last episode, but for us here, it's only been about 20 minutes.
Yes, and we have our favorite communist here.
Your favorite communist. And Doug and Michael have just been chatting about politics and history for the last 20 minutes.
Wait, what do you mean
talked about
your
deep
favorite
state, CIA?
communist? I don't get it. Wait, are you implying that there are a lot of...
See, he sees, he always sees the dark side.
Are there a lot of Korean communists to choose from here?
You're right. Probably the one and only.
Who is the other Korean communist that would be on the top of his list?
Excuse me.
Anyway, you're the favorite one, so... Yeah. But
I'm the only one.
You're the only Korean communist in existence in the United States.
This is what I think. If communism becomes popular...
No, actually, David, didn't he say he was...
Oh, there's two Korean communists in LA, yeah.
David Yoon, right? Okay.
David Yoon, yeah.
Yeah.
So
proudly declared Korean
what I think is if communism get traction, I think you would probably leave communism. I think that's the type of person you are.
What do you mean?
I mean, if everybody jumps into a certain bandwagon, I think you're
you're saying
I'm not going to be here anymore. You're that type of person, right?
It's more. I think everyone is jumping on the Trotskyist communist bandwagon.
I know that you hate Trotsky.
I'm a Stalinist communist.
All right.
I don't like anyone who is a Trotsky. So yeah, maybe you're right in that regard. A lot of people are jumping into this.
Yeah. What do you think of the Koreans who are against Stalin for forcefully removing Koreans from Korea and putting them in like modern day Uzbekistan or something like?
I mean, that's a legitimate concern. I would say that Stalin was not perfect. I don't think any communist leader was perfect.
Well, that's far from perfect.
Sure.
Very far, right?
But I mean, like, obviously,
who was that in Pulp Fiction? I'm pretty effing far from perfect.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Yeah, even Deng Xiaoping.
That is pretty effing far from perfect, man.
I think, said he was 70-30. 70% good, 30%
I like your
bad.
attitude, though. Hey, nobody's perfect. Whenever there's some kind of weakness comes up, you say,
no, but it is.
Nobody's perfect.
What, do you think any of your leaders are perfect?
Nobody's
do you think
perfect.
I think he is perfect?
I think no human being.
Do you think Seokmin Rhee is perfect?
No human being is perfect.
No, but I think the thing is that we would expect higher standards from communists.
I think it's tough to... I think a lot of people judge Stalin on a lot of his actions during, pretty much a very tumultuous period. He really took power kind of like in the late 1920s and died, obviously, in 1953. And so this is a guy who basically willed his country from like an agrarian society to like one of the most industrialized places on earth.
Nuclear power.
A nuclear power.
And on the path
and literally
to space.
From 20 years. In 20 years, he creates a nuclear power. And so, yeah, I mean, at the time, the reason why was similar to the Japanese internment camps, where he didn't know if there was some Korean loyalists to the Japanese Empire. So he kind of like made the decision.
Did he plant some spies on the Oppenheimer team, as the movie kind of implied?
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, the story in mainstream media is that Julius and Ethel Rosenberg sold, or not sold, but like basically leaked those secrets to the Soviets. I don't know if I 100% believe that. I think they might have just been the fall people. I think there was definitely like MI6 agents
involved
who were double agents for the Soviets in the 1930s.
So the reason for what Stalin did, so I'm hearing now, is he was worried that there would be pro-Japanese people among the Korean population because there was a war between Japan and Russia, right?
Not at that time, but they were, like this was during World War II where, they signed their own non-aggression pact, but, you never know what the Japanese are planning. I mean, they had their own history, obviously, in 1905 as well.
But in 1945, Stalin was moving his troops towards the eastern...
Well, yeah, that's to, once, they defeated Hitler, the agreement in the, Yalta or whatever, was that Stalin would attack Japan 3 months after the fall of Berlin.
So why did the U.S. nuke Japan if the Soviets were going to attack Japan anyway?
So that's a contentious debate. I would say the communist line is that America wanted to display its nuclear power, so that that they would scare the Soviets. Because the Soviets, you know, they made all these agreements before the war ended as to like, you know, all these lines and like who would control what and who would influence what. And so there was this fear, I guess, in Washington that the Soviets would overstep their kind of like, you know, lines and just like kind of like just take all of Europe. And maybe similarly also in Asia as well, you know, go past the 38th and just be like, you know, Korea's free now, right? And so in order to kind of like bully the Soviets a little bit, they were like, hey, don't fuck with us.
So it was a warning.
It was a little bit of a warning, but it was also kind of like there is a little bit of merit in the Japan was kind of crazy and was probably going to fight to the last man type of theory. Although that was more...
That's one of the main reasons that America decided to do the Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
So on the Japanese side, actually, at the end of... In 1945, they knew they were going to lose. They knew that it was only a matter of time. They were not going to win a war of attrition. They probably knew by the Battle of Midway in 1942 that like their chances of total victory were very slim. And so in 1945, they were losing troops, they're losing, you know, whatever. Their strategy is like, if we can mount one last big battle against the Allies, we'll have a better chance at negotiating with them. And at the time, they had also signed a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union in 1941. So they kept trying to be like, to the Soviets during this time, they were like, hey, is that agreement still valid? In April or May, the Soviets said, we're not going to renew it. But they were like, but it's still valid for now. And so the Soviets were just kind of like, hey, can we get something out of Japan if they surrender? And you know, I don't know if it was true or not, or if Stalin was just like stalling to get his armies ready. But like for whatever was, Japan thought there was a chance that they could deal with the Soviets. They'd be like, hey, we'll give you back all this territory in Manchuria, blah, 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 if you kind of like negotiate on the behalf of us. Because they knew that the Soviets and Americans in the West were not the best of friends. They already knew that. Right. And so they're kind of trying to like play both sides against each other. They had the hope that the Soviets would petition on their behalf if they gave up some stuff to the Soviets. So then once the Soviet Union does invade, they realize there's no chance at all. We can't do that last thing. There were actually some in the Japanese military who was like, if they nuke our entire island, wouldn't that be glorious? We'd be going out like a glorious. Like,
I think America actually planned to bomb all over Japan.
Yeah,
that was their initial plan.
The only strategy, the only way that strategy would work, if you're just like fighting through nuclear bombs, is if you believe that fighting one last battle against either, you know, any of the allies would convince them to negotiate kind of like a conditional surrender.
Well, I think Tucker Carlson last week, he had a podcast with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan invited him, and I think Tucker Carlson criticized America for bombing Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He said that was uncalled for. We didn't have to do it. It was they were already on the losing side. And then he was criticizing that America's deep state has been operating that way, that they don't have humanity. They don't care. You know, it's just, for them, it's just about getting more power. You know, so Tucker was talking, and I think like people like Ben Shapiro was criticizing him for saying that.
Well, it's debatable because like I think what the right wing, some right wing people are trying to do is to kind of like, you know, play this angle where they feel sorry for Japan so that they can backwards play sympathies for Dresden in Germany.
No, I think not. He was criticizing the Ukraine war while talking about this.
No, I know what he's talking about. Yeah. But what I'm saying is the overall strategy was to like sanitize the nukes in Japan so you can also sanitize Dresden in Germany and be like, you know, kind of like backdooring their sympathy for the Nazis.
Now, one thing I wonder is, after World War II, why was the Japanese emperor, that family, why were they not overthrown? Like, why are they still there today?
It was a decision that was made by MacArthur, right?
Really, MacArthur.
I mean,
And the deep. I mean, like the Secretary of State, really.
No, I think it was
But why,
MacArthur's
though?
idea, right?
The idea was that the Japanese people would revolt if their emperor was abdicated or killed or whatever or executed. So the Americans, they wanted to basically control Japan and Japan's empire after World War II. So the easiest way to do that isn't to like destroy their leadership.
Control their leadership.
Control their leadership and like give them the illusion that they're a sovereign nation.
But when they're really the bitch of America,
Yeah.
as you have
I have said many
What do you
times.
think of that? Is that true that Japan is that the royal family, or
I
is
don't know
it
about
called
Japanese
royal
history
family?
that much.
Well, the LDP is definitely the bitch of America.
No, but I think
Douglas
MacArthur,
Kim. No.
MacArthur was pretty much buddies with the emperor, I think, in the end.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
they
Wow.
lost.
This was
So,
basically
yeah.
Japanese Hitler. And, you know,
Oh yeah, he was the guy in charge of
Western
731.
Hitler kills himself in a bunker, and Japanese Hitler gets to live the rest of his life.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what happened. I think,
Yeah.
you know...
That is
and
the
I think
difference between how...
If you look at history, they were thinking, what should we do with Japan? Should we just completely get rid of their emperor system? But they thought that it would be chaotic. I don't know a revolt. That angle I never heard of, but they thought, you know, the Japanese people, because it was their identity, right? It was their god. Emperor was like their god. So it's like, for them, you know, removing their...
Like Kim Il Sung?
Something like that. Something
Okay.
like that. So,
No, but even more so.
I think so. That's why they decided not to. It was different from South Korea. I think, you know, they decided to just
Yeah,
keep
and now you
But I
have-
think they already kind of there was a photo that MacArthur took with the emperor, and you know MacArthur's a tall dude, right? And I think he towered over. What's his name? Yeah, and then
Hirohito.
yeah, and when people saw those photos, I think that already most Japanese, even though they still have an emperor system, right, to this day, but they knew that Japan lost, and it kind of made them more human. I mean, they always considered the emperor like a godlike figure, but I think they were in a way humanized, and they knew that this
More
is
like humiliated.
Yeah, this is a humiliated too,
It's-
and also like not an immortal being.
Right.
I think
So
that
it's
that got
interesting
kicked
'cause,
into
like-
their to people's mind.
You know how like Japan is pretty racist today still. They have like Japanese only, even to like other Asian kind of like visitors, blah, blah, blah.
About who? Japanese being racist against who?
Just anyone that's not Japanese.
Gaijin.
I heard that it's changing a lot though.
No.
Because
Anyway,
yeah.
aside from whatever you're hearing, it's
No,
racist.
no, because
no,
have you
it's
been there?
racist.
Have you
anyway,
been to
hold
Japan?
on. Let me finish my fucking
Look
point.
at it. Let me finish my
point.
like shaking his hands
No,
again.
let me
You know,
fin-
look
let
at
me
him
finish-
shaking his hands
Let me finish
again.
my point before you give your retarded, non sequitur.
Hey.
Wait, what do you mean retarded?
He's saying you retarded and all this kind of stuff. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
what do you say to that? You know, I mean,
Hey,
every
you know,
single
hey,
debate he's
Yeah,
using the bitch word.
We're all
and
Korean here. We're all Korean here, right?
You're Hyungs, man.
Including, we are the Hyungs. I don't think you can say retarded to him.
Yeah, I mean,
You
you
can
can't
say
do a debate.
it's invalid.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Invalid.
But when
His
you say
invalid
that,
point.
he thinks that this is like a real world Twitter sphere. Hey, it's not. You know.
No, we're all Koreans.
And when I say this, I'm not
Okay,
saying.
you're right.
I'm not
You're right.
saying
You know
that-
what? Japan is
I'm
the
not saying
racial.
that-
It's the awakening
No,
of racial
I'm not-
consciousness. It's equal for everyone. Everyone who goes there that's
no,
not
because
Japanese is
you know,
treated
when I
equally.
went to Japan,
oh,
I
it's
was-
not about the Zainichi Koreans who are just fucking like
Yeah, I mean,
destroyed
historically,
and
those things might be
fucking
accurate,
like
but what
shat
I'm saying
on
is-
left and right.
No, when
that
I-
never happens.
No, when I say
oh,
that-
it's better.
It's
There-
not-
there's
I'm
no,
not even trying
there's
to
no
dissent.
Japanese
And he just
only
goes off.
establishments. You're going on
He
your
just
crazy
goes off.
mind. This is not a racist place.
all right.
Let him go.
No, just make your point though. It's okay.
Anyway, Japan is racist.
And then,
right?
Michael, you can respond after
I mean,
he
I
finished.
don't even know from Japan's point
Okay,
of view,
but-
but I went to Japan and I didn't think that they were, you know.
Okay.
There were a lot of Korean presence there, like every
Right.
where I
'Cause there's many
went,
Koreans
you know,
there,
yeah,
right.
exactly.
Yeah, they
But-
like the
languages
South
here and
Koreans.
there.
They don't like the Zainichi Koreans.
Okay. So, Doug, make your point, and then Michael, listen, and then after Doug's finished, which should be within
But
a
he
minute.
gets so emotional.
No, okay. Let him.
Because you're
Why-
interrupting me
All right, okay,
with
go ahead.
retarded non
Okay,
sequiturs.
don't say retarded.
I mean, they're non
Which makes you look retarded when you use
No,
the
you
word
don't say retarded
Okay,
to him
I
either.
won't, I
We're
won't.
not going to call each other retards. No Korean on Korean. like insults.
Actually,
we can criticize each other's statements and ideas, but don't call each other retarded.
Actually, before this show happened, we talked about this.
Every time I sit and make a point, he just interjects with this like little non sequitur that like derails my entire argument.
Doug,
and I'm just kind of like, what am I even talking
Michael
about?
finish his point and then go to you, okay?
That looked horrible on screen with my tongue out. Whatever, leave it in.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Douglas, Michael, please. Doug, you have
everyone knows Japan is racist. Okay. Like, I don't know why you're apologizing for them. That's just like, it's just a fact.
Okay.
If I'm saying Japan is racist, like, why even interject? Oh, well, it's improving. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, that's, first of all, I haven't finished my point yet. So that's not that. Like, Japan being racist was not my point.
Okay. So now that your view is that Japan is racist, now please explain your point, and then Michael will respond after.
14 years ago, when I visited Japan, I talked to some people. You know, like I knew that they were kind of like, I think that every country is xenophobic to some degree. I'm not saying that Japan is uniquely racist. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that any like country, doesn't like foreigners, right? Like they rank themselves on top, right? Like. So I was like, oh, Japanese people, you must be like Japanese people on top, and then Korean, and Chinese, and then like Brazilian or whatever. Like maybe these like Brazilian and Filipino people are kind of like your black people or whatever, right? And then like, but you guys are on top, right? And then they were like saying like, oh no, we actually put white people on top because they defeated us.
Who said that?
That's what Japanese people told me.
So is that the end of your point?
Yes, that was my point.
Now, Michael, please respond.
When you say people, how many people say that? Yeah, I think, I would argue that most people...
Oh, I didn't fucking take a poll in Japan. And
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
What do you think?
That's crazy.
Do you think white people on top? Do you think white people? Do you think?
No, I mean, historically...
It was a group of people.
Like Cheilgyopo being discriminated against. We hear about those stories, yeah. But when you say that, I'm wondering whether you're talking about like a general point. Yeah.
That they are basically saying, in their paradigm, this was related to the MacArthur point because you derailed it so much that
I didn't derail it. What did I derail?
From the
yeah,
point.
you were doing most of the talking.
So anyway, because of MacArthur's influence. That's what happened. Basically, probably not all Japanese people, but there's probably a fair contingent that have this idea that the white man rules over them.
I never. This is the first, so I don't even know.
Then why don't you go to Japan yourself?
Okay,
I went to Japan.
Okay, what's your?
Did you ever ask them about this?
No, I did.
He's very familiar with Japan. Okay, but what's your view on Japan then?
Well, probably I think after America won the war against Japan, I think. People had to just follow their system in a way, right? I mean, what else can you do if you're, they're Paejeongguk, right? So that's how it works. So
what's Paejeongguk?
Yeah, Paejeongguk is like
a country that
lost in the war. Yeah, so they lost.
Yeah, but how long is this loss going to? So 200 years from now, are they going to?
It's been 79 years.
Oh, we lost to America, so we still have to be their bitch.
No, that I don't know. That area, I don't know.
Do you think Japanese people will acknowledge and be like, we are America's bitch? I mean, or do they just think like America is just...
I think there's a growing movement within the youth, Japanese youth. They're sort of waking up to this.
The Gen Z Japanese. Oops, didn't mean that. The Gen Z Japanese.
Yes, the Gen Z Japanese, they are, I think they are, obviously with any Gen Z connected to the internet, you're just more well-informed about what's going on in the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. And so, especially with the over kind of like saturation of weebery that's been going on in America, where America just basically, have commodified Japan, for the past 10, 20 years.
I think what I understand is I think Japanese people kind of look down on America. That's what I understand. Especially like in the 70s and 80s after they implemented, what do you call?
You mean when Japan was so
rich?
The
quality, no, before, like in the 70s, I think America, there was one businessman who cared about product quality, but he was pretty much ostracized here in the American community. So he went to Japan and kind of implemented this quality control, so to speak.
But then,
and I think during the 80s, there were even movies about Japanese people looking down on white people. Even actually, Trump talked about how arrogant. He talked about the business people that he met all over the world, but the most arrogant of them all were Japanese, and he
But that's-
remembered that.
that's
And what I'm saying
fine.
is, economically, they were
That's
taking
fine.
over, like
But
in the
then
80s.
what happened
I know
in
what
the
I'm saying
90s?
is, I know what I heard.
What happened with the Plaza
No, no.
Accords?
Just,
No,
just
that's
hear
what
me
I'm
out.
saying. I'm saying I agree
Hear
with
me
you,
out.
right? In the 70s and 80s, they were on the come up.
Exactly, yeah.
They were the big boys on the block. They were ruling the technology industry. But then what happened in the 1990s?
They collapsed, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, why? What happened
What
there?
happened? You tell me.
America, the Plaza Accords, they basically
Plaza, yeah.
cucked Japan economically.
So
They
okay.
cucked Japan.
Yeah.
So
they crushed Toshiba.
Yeah, they did. I think Toshiba went. I don't think they went out of business, but they did.
Sure, but the
they
semiconductor,
took a
whatever.
lot of
They're doing the
damage.
same thing to China today
Yeah,
with
Exactly.
Huawei.
But regarding China, America was a little bit late. That's what the study that I read, because 10 years ago, America was having their own problem with the Lehman Brothers situation. I heard that was
Sure.
exactly the
15
time when
years
they
ago.
had to go on the offense against China, but they missed that chance. That's what one of the business experts said. But exactly, I mean, so I think America, they print money, right? America.
But that's
has,
just like such a backward thinking. Like, why do you need to?
one of the,
why do you need
one
to
of the
cut your
countries,
competitors at your knees?
One of the countries that buy treasury from America is like China too. China is one of the top countries that buy.
Yeah, but
American
they're
treasury.
selling them now.
Japan too.
But
And
they're
ca-
forcing Japan to buy them, and China is getting rid of dumping them.
Exactly. So this is a deep state system. That's exactly
That's
what's
what I'm
going
saying.
on.
So
this is exactly
when I'm
what's going
saying
on.
Japan is a bitch
no,
of-
but it's not just
bitch of
it's not
America.
Japan. I mean, it's not just Japan. It's almost all the Western Hemisphere.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
excluding them.
But I
I'm-
wouldn't use the word
like
bitch. You know. So would you consider all the countries that follow the biggest country? Are they all just bitches?
yes, they are.
Yeah, that's
all,
how you say it.
They are all Americans. England is America's bitch. France is America's bitch. Germany is America's bitch. South Korea, Taiwan,
But-
Philippines.
But why
Japan,
can't you handle when somebody
all
asks,
bitches?
when somebody
Saudi
asks,
Arabia is America's bitch.
But a lot of these countries also voted for Palestinian membership at the
They
UN.
did. Korea too.
South Korea did.
South Korea voted for.
Are
Yeah,
they-
what use is
So-
that when
so-
America can just veto it?
That's
and
true.
Be like,
Yeah, that's true. Because America.
so we voted for it, but then Daddy America voted against it. So like, I guess
Yeah, it seems like
it's easy to vote for something when you know it's not going to get passed.
because it seems like China and Russia is pretty much backing down whenever America seems to be pissed off, right? I don't see a lot of like, America's saying we're going to put a whole bunch of tariffs against China. I don't think China is saying that much back. You know what I mean? Because they have to rely upon
terrorists in
America.
China.
Wait, maybe
Tariffs.
What do you mean
Taxes.
China's not saying much back?
I think they said something today, but
China is pursuing a strategy set by Deng Xiaoping for the past 40, 50 years. They know that there's an eventual going to be a conflict
I mean,
with
what
America.
I'm saying is you say all countries are bitches, but why you can't handle it when
China is not America's bitch.
No, what I'm saying is, but how about North
That is
Korea?
why America
but you
hates
say,
China.
But when
North
I say
Korea is not China's bitch. I mean,
many
America's
people
bitch.
think that way though.
Okay, so
What,
If
that
you
North,
put it
Kor-
on- if you
that
put it
North
on that
Korea
line.
is America's bitch?
But
What
anyway,
are you talking about?
aren't we supposed to talk about like Korean entertainment? And we always talk about
Okay,
this communism issue.
all right, we go where okay. So
Yeah, I thought this was the jazz.
Michael made a point. Oh yeah, this is the jazz. So Michael made a point that you get very upset if like Michael doesn't get.
Exactly.
He's saying that he doesn't get as crazy when you say South Korea is America's bitch, but he thinks you get crazy when he says something that you don't like. Is there truth? to
Like he
that?
can dish it out, but he can't take anything.
Do you think that's
What are you
true?
talking about? Fine. Okay, explain to me how is China America's bitch?
Huh? China is, no, I didn't say China is America's bitch.
So
I'm saying
then what
North,
are we even talking
I
about?
think
What
North
did you
Korea.
say to me that
No, I
triggered
didn't say
me?
China was America's
Okay,
bitch.
so
I
what's
was
the-
talking about North Korea. Why
North Korea's
What do you
China's
think
bitch?
about people? Yeah, people thinking that North Korea is China's bitch, and then you got so angry last time. Remember
I
that?
didn't get angry. I'll explain to you why they're not China's bitch, because they have pursued a foreign policy that China has not endorsed. China has kicked them to the curb about their nuclear weapons program in the 1990s and 2000s.
Did China even put that much pressure against them to not develop nuclear weapons? I don't think so. They did?
I mean, they didn't. They kind of like followed some of the sanctions that the UN and America basically.
You mean China and the U.S. agreed on?
Yeah, is China being a bitch of America then in that scenario? In that scenario.
Or are they both being bitches to North Korea? What's going on there? Yeah, that's kind of an interesting one.
I mean, when I say a country is someone's bitch, I mean that they're basically their sovereignty is not determined by their people. like Germany, for example. Germany's sovereignty is not determined by the German people.
Yeah, but I gave
Japan's sovereignty is not determined by the Japanese
I gave you an
people.
example of Kim Yong-sam saying no to America, flat out. Hey, we're not going to move a single soldier.
I don't care what someone says.
What do you mean you don't care? That happened, and so they blocked the war happening in
They didn't
Korea.
block shit.
What in
And that, I
was
mean,
it
you don't know. You don't know
1994?
The
anything,
Clinton,
man.
the
Around
Department
94.
of Defense came with the study.
What is it? South Korea president lashes out at U.S. Oh, damn, I don't have an account.
The the Department of Defense came up
We
with a
have New
study
York
on a
Times.
war game with North Korea and determined that the results would not be favorable to them. That is the main reason they did not pursue war at that time. Because
America wanted
every other
to.
time, when America says jump, South Korea says how high.
No.
In Vietnam,
I think that's
in
not
Iraq,
the case. I think no,
in
no,
Afghanistan.
No, I'm telling you regarding.
No, I don't
when
fucking
Bill
care.
Clinton,
Like
Bill
every
Clinton
sort of
wanted-
every
Okay, wait.
conflict that doesn't even involve South Korea, America's like,
Okay, PPT
Let's go.
Kamal. Let's look at this. I know it's Wikipedia. It's an American site, and most of the people who contribute are Westerners. But Kim Yong-sam's Wikipedia here says in 1994, when American President Bill Clinton considered attacking, is it Yongbyon? Okay, Yongbyon, the center of North Korea's nuclear program, Kim advised him to back down, fearing a war. A U.S. aircraft carrier and a cruiser had been deployed near South Korea's east coast in preparation for a possible airstrike,
Yeah.
and the United States planned to evacuate Americans, including U.S. troops and their families, Kim said in a memoir. He understood that South Korean cities would be bombarded first by North Korea in the event of a
and he
strike
blocked
and
it.
thought
He
it...
really blocked it, you know.
So did he block it, or he just advised him to back
no,
down?
it wasn't an advisory.
block
He
shit.
he said that he would.
the only
move, a
reason
Korean
is because
soldier.
South Korea at
A
the
single
time
Korean
was
soldier.
economically
You didn't even know about this last time.
it
Did you
doesn't-
research about it afterwards?
Yes.
Do you think
They
it's
were
possible?
economically ascendant. So back in the Korean War, they didn't give a shit if Kim Yong-sam said that or Suk-min Rhee said that
Yeah, I
back
mean,
then.
I
Like
think-
obviously Suk-min Rhee's not going to say, he's going to say full
yeah.
speed ahead. But then Seoul in 1994 is much different from Seoul in 1953 and much different from Seoul in 1970 in the 1970s when they had their little
Of course, it's different. Yeah.
in their border stuff.
I mean,
So it's just kind of like, yeah, economically and strategically, America was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. If we lose Seoul,
no,
then
I think
this
they
is
were.
gonna be
they were
terrible.
willing to move.
Michael,
They were willing to move.
Michael,
I think
it's-
Kim Yong-sam during an interview, it was a long interview, and they were willing to move in.
But it seems like you're saying that Kim Yong-sam actually
That
stopped them,
was-
whereas Doug is saying that maybe based on Kim Yong-sam's recommendation or advice.
It wasn't even
cooler
That-
heads prevailed.
Right. So you're saying that it wasn't like Kim Yong-sam stopped it, but he helped prevent it.
Yes.
No, Kim Yong-sam, it was not even an advisor. He said he wouldn't move a single Korean soldier. That was his wording. So but anyway,
Okay.
that's just how it went.
We agree to disagree.
Okay, yeah. So are we gonna move to the BTS?
Yeah. So
HYBE
we
situation, or-
saw in the news.
This is a much.
We're not
more
going to call each other retards. Okay. We saw in the news. I saw something about
Or
HYBE.
Japs.
That was what do you call it?
You're gonna
A
edit
slip.
it out?
No, because we all make mistakes. I apologize to all the Japanese people out there who were offended by.
You know what? You know
Yeah.
what though? It's just kind of like if black people can make up cracker for white people, Korean people, why can't we have our own slur for Japanese people?
Don't we 족발? What?
I don't know. Why
Like
can't
we were
what?
literally enslaved by Japanese people not too long ago. Like this was like
Yeah.
you
What
know,
are some
less than
Korean?
100 years
What
ago.
are some Korean derogatory terms for Japanese?
I don't
So
know.
apparently we have to abide by Western rules about
I don't think those
their
are-
slur. This was a
you're
Western created
talking about-
slur, right? This wasn't
Then
created
how
by
about
Korean
then,
people.
according to that logic, then how about when the blacks attacking Korean community in
blacks.
'92, the Black American, yeah, it was a
Yeah,
Black
and they
American
use slurs
community.
against us all the time. Black people.
They
when
do.
they
Yeah,
attack
so
us.
what you're saying is then we should use slurs against them because it's just pretty
Hey,
recent, right?
like Michelle
18
Obama said, when they go
Fight.
low, we go higher, right?
When we
Michelle
go
Obama,
we
Michael
go
Obama,
lower.
whatever.
Big Mike.
Big
Or
Mike.
Big
When
Mike.
we go low, we go low. When they go low, we go lower.
Are we supposed to say Black Americans? Is black?
I don't know.
kinda-
That's the confusing thing. So when I was growing up, it was like there was this phase of like Afro American.
African American.
No, African American, Afro American, Black people, black.
And then capitalized black now.
It's like I don't know what the what is...
Why are we capitalizing black? Why we don't capitalize white? This is ridiculous.
And then if they're from like, I don't know. And then some white guy was like, well, Steve Nash is African American. I'm like, well, yeah. Elon Musk is African American.
Steve Nash is a Canadian.
But wasn't he from South Africa?
No,
he's Canadian.
No, he was originally from.
Oh, really?
No. Well, why did somebody tell me that he's freaking African? Yeah, he's from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Born there. Wow.
He's a fellow African American.
Just like Charlize Theron, is she African American?
Yeah.
Then what's an Afro American? And then black, whatever the fuck.
I think like these days it's just black American.
Yeah, so that's what I just said.
Larry Elder
he said the blacks.
The blacks.
No, I thought black American.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't hear it often, so it's kind of funny.
Do they call it black Americans then, usually?
To me, that's the safest thing.
Yeah. I think Larry Elder prefers to be called black American. He said,
not just an American?
No, if you're going to go there.
Yeah.
Black American. So
sure.
And by the way, only non-whites have that, addition to American. It's not, Americans are just American, but you're right. Black American, Asian American, whatever. Okay, so where were we? HYBE?
Yeah, because they didn't intern German or Italian Americans during World War II. That's for sure.
By the way, is this Park Jung-hee?
Oh, God.
PPT Camel?
Yeah, he was, what was his Japanese name?
Takagi Masao. I heard he
what do you think of Park
signed an oath in blood to the Emperor of Japan.
Did he? Okay.
And he was fighting against the resistance fighters in Manchuria.
I was never a fan of him, though, because I think he was a dictator, and how can
you be dictator's not necessarily bad, but
I know you like. I think it's a bad thing.
Do you think
I don't like dictatorships.
Do you think he's better or worse than Chun Doo-hwan?
Chun Doo-hwan. I don't know. I think Chun Doo-hwan was also one of the dictators.
But you kind of grew up more under Chun Doo-hwan.
Yeah, so it wasn't good. Chun Doo-hwan wasn't good either, but
do you like
they have their pluses. I think Park Jung-hee did well on the economic front.
Sure,
gotta give him that.
By copying
but I think he wanted to be
an.
I think he wanted to be an emperor. I think he wanted to have his.
So you do think he had a Napoleon complex?
I think he wanted to, because he declared Yushin, so he wanted to. Yeah.
Oh, wasn't there some movie that came out about him? Or?
No, that was Lee Seung-man recently, right?
Oh, that was a Lee Seung-man movie.
Yeah.
I think Lee Seung-man was
Syngman Rhee. It's in Billy Joel's song.
You know what he is? He's basically like all the. Remember you were talking about all those Ivy League Koreans or whatever. He's that.
Who?
Syngman Rhee.
He married a white woman, right?
He married an Austrian who
he went to Princeton, right? Princeton.
Yeah. He later, Francisca Donaire or whatever her name was.
Francis. Yeah, I think.
Francis.
I mean,
the CIA knew that she was a Nazi sympathizer.
So Lee Seung-man married a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't the British royal family also Nazi sympathizers early on? Like,
sure, but this was like
there are images of Queen Elizabeth doing
I guess this was like a significant thing enough for the CIA to note. So
interesting. Yeah. So
they got together in 1934, I think.
Oh shit! The show's more than half over. We still haven't gotten to it.
Okay. Where did you get that information that she's a Nazi sympathizer?
I'll get it
because
later.
You throw these things like it's like a. Mainstream history and stuff, but I
oh,
never heard.
It's interesting that somebody with a show called Conspiracy
what
is questioning
no, because I've never seen it.
I'm not
doubting
are establishment.
Douglas, I'm not saying that I'm
you just
doubting.
You just want the sources, right?
I'll get it to you.
I'll get it to you. Want to check. That's it. No, because I never heard it. That's why.
Okay. The CIA is not just like saying, "Oh yeah, the
you guys,
they like Nazis."
All right.
You guys read from different books, so different
sources.
Okay, he reads, different sources, not necessarily books. Okay, so let's get back to what we were going to do start the show with, even though it's been almost 34 minutes. HYBE, that's the big entertainment or record label in South Korea that manages BTS, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. Can you explain, what's going on with HYBE?
BTS agency HYBE has now come under fire for allegedly being involved in a cult called Danworld. It's kind of like they considered like Dangun their
another Christian cult
or something. It's some people say it's a Christian cult too.
Is it related to Christianity at all?
I don't even know.
It's related to this dude here.
Could be. I'm not even sure about that. But there's a guy named I forgot his name. Yeah, but it seems like a lot of BTS members graduated to one of their cyber global school or something. Why don't you put BTS cyber global?
Is
university.
This just
So
BTS
the
or is this
organization-
HYBE in general? Because HYBE manages other groups now too, right?
HYBE manages New Jeans.
Yeah.
But New Jeans, so HYBE has a lot of subsidiary labels, and I think New Jeans is not directly under HYBE; it's under in a different Adore. Adore, one of the label is called Adore,
But ultimately it's
Adore
HYBE.
CEO, actually Adore CEO named Min Hee-Jin, she had a press conference last week and bashing BTS. I mean, HYBE CEO.
Because of this.
Bang Xiao, because Bang Xiao was trying to, he called himself what Bang, whatever. Yeah, Bang is trying to sabotage New Jeans, and he was trying to make a copycat group, a girl group. I watched some of the videos. It looks pretty, similar, and was purposely trying to sabotage this New Jeans group because it was led by that producer named Min Hee-Jin. So people are saying that probably Bang Xiao was super jealous about another figurehead coming up under his wing.
Sure.
And that's why she gave a 2-hour press conference last week, and she was criticizing.
Okay, so was this
Bang
big
Xiao.
news story about that or about some cult?
So this is one of the
Did she
follow-up
criticize
news.
them because
It started from there.
Did she criticize
she
them
criticized him
because
also
of
talking
the
about this Tanwolde
cult?
too. Yeah, the cult too.
No,
So she
okay.
did-
What,
I mean,
include the cult
she
in
was saying. So I didn't watch the entire press conference, but I read some of the reports. So what she was saying is she started getting attacked after New Jeans had this music video come out named OMG, meaning oh my God.
Yes, I
And
know
in
it.
that video, I think a teddy bear comes out. And apparently, this Tanwolde, a teddy bear, a bear is a very because Tangun Shinwa. If you look at the Tangun Shinwa, it started from bear, right? So a bear has a deep meaning.
Yeah, with
in
like the
this.
birth of Korea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is just I'm just going by reports.
What is
that
the-
they are being I mean,
How big is this Dangun
so Bang
cult?
Xiao was kind of angry at Min Hee-Jin because she kind of hinted that they might be somehow involved in this cult.
Wait.
Wait,
So
what-
she was
what-
kind
okay.
of,
let's back up.
what's the
What-
bad thing about this cult? Why is
what
it
is
so
this
bad?
cult
What-
and why is
yeah.
it bad?
They are considered.
Why is it not just a religion?
They are considered.
Or how big is this cult?
So I
even?
think in the Korean Christianity world that it's considered a cult, and I think many reports said it's a cult.
Sure.
Many of the media members said that it's a
So
cult.
when the
too.
media calls it a cult, it must be a cult.
Yeah, so I mean, if so, isn't that how it is? Like when we talk about Scientology, if it's not well known, they consider it a cult, right? And I think that's one of.
All right.
Of it. I think he considered himself like a king.
Regardless of whether it's
Whether
a
it's
cult
a
or
cult
not,
or whatever.
what do they stand
yeah,
for?
what is it?
I
Are
don't
they
even
like
know about
Falun
that.
Gong?
So that I
or-
don't know. That I don't know.
Oh.
So
that
it's
I don't
just
know. So it's
it's
one
just
of the
an ad
religions.
hominem.
So I don't even
It's
know
just
about.
They're part
time.
of this cult that's bad. That's basically what we're getting here.
HYBE BTS. On Saturday, numerous reports claim that HYBE affiliated labels like G-Friend and Lesara are linked to the Danworld cult. Believes that man and God are one and the same and worships the goddess of space, Mago.
So this is just like
This
Korean
is from
Scientology.
Indian news, Hindustan
Yeah.
Times.
I think they write a lot about BTS.
So they fumes over Downworld connection crossing the line. The negative impact of this. Oh, there's the Adore CEO Min Hee-Jin. Kilogram supports her.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, he's
Min-
been-
I'm more on the.
Yeah,
Min
he's
Hee-Jin
been
side.
supporting her on Instagram stories.
I think Min Hee-Jin
that's
is
really all
good,
I
yeah.
know.
So you're saying one of the people on New Jeans, one of the members of New Jeans, was criticizing the CEO.
No, the CEO of the
in
New
the-
Jeans.
I don't know. She didn't
label.
flat out criticize.
So Min
but
Hee-Jin-
what she, according to the reports that I read, was the Bang Xiao, the mother company, HYBE was attacking her ever since the music video came out, the OMG video came out, because
So
OMG
HYBE
was
was attacking Min Hee for the
Hee-Jin,
video.
yeah,
Min Hee for the video OMG.
something like that. According to her, yeah, that it was hinting that that
attacking her
somehow-
how? Like in the media or behind the scenes?
I think they audited her. They started auditing her company,
but
the
that's
subsidiary company.
But is she accusing now HYBE of being in this cult, or is HYBE accusing her of being in this cult?
Whatever.
So Min Hee-Jin is accused. I mean, kind of implying.
So let's say
through this video.
Let's say it is,
but not flat out saying they're.
Let's say they
it.
are all part of this cult. What does that mean for?
Is it just controversial among Christians then? Because it just says man and God are one and the same and worships the goddess of space.
I don't even know about that. I don't even know.
I mean, and maybe for Christians, it's like that's not God. That's not real.
What percent of Korea is Christian? Like 40.
It's about a third, right?
I would think a third.
2/5.
Probably a third.
Yeah.
Probably a third.
And then there's smaller Buddhists.
I'm just going by reports, but.
Okay, so then what are the implications? Let's say
if you go to like BTS,
what do Korean people say about it?
Like Tanwoldo, I think.
What have you been hearing other Korean people say?
Yeah, what do you hear?
I don't know. I never heard about it until this report. I didn't even know about Tanwoldo, but apparently they have a university called Global Cyber University, and seems like majority of the BTS members graduated there. So there is probably some kind of relation to that. But are you sure it's just not like
that they have to like go through training and this is just like another part of their training?
That I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Tanwolde specialist.
I guess like what I'm asking is like who has financial interests here?
There's
this is obviously a hit piece or a hit story on BTS and HYBE. So like
here's all K-pop.
Who is the people that
should have it,
like floating this as much?
Well, it's TV Joseon, right? That's what it was cited in one of the articles I read.
Yeah. Whether it's true or not, somebody has a vested interest because like this, if this is all well known or whatever, and it's been going on for years.
So even BTS, HYBE was also accusing her of having a fortune teller, relying upon a fortune teller. And one of the fortune tellers that she was saying that...
For Min Hee-Jin.
Min Hee-Jin.
Yeah,
Min Hee-Jin said she's just a friend who happens to be a fortune teller. And according to probably some of the texts that they exchanged with each other, I'm just going by reports that I read, and it was saying that they were trying to take over HYBE within 3 years or something.
I mean
they were trying to not take over, but pull out new jeans. She had a 20%.
18. I remember
18%.
that.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they were also connected to Deep State HYBE because they're Scooter Braun, right?
Scooter Braun.
Scooter Braun owns like a big
but
piece
I don't
of
think he has anything to do with this. No, but as I'm reading about this religion, I don't see what the big deal is. Who cares? Man and God.
They're even saying that Yoon Song-yeol might be one of the. So there's that angle. One of the believers.
The guy who's saying American Pie for Sleepy Joe.
I don't know.
I mean, so this is almost kind of like like the conspiracy could be that this is like a Freemasons almost in Korea.
They're saying that Yoon Song-yeol is also
like this is like
because Yoon Song-yeol talks a lot about his wife.
She was in a scandal
Kim
recently
Gun-hee,
too,
Kim
right?
Gun-hee talks a lot about
she took a bag from a pastor.
Dual bag. Yeah, but anyway.
And now they're trying to go after that pastor.
And when Yoon Song-yeol was doing a debate, he had a Chinese character Wang, and he showed it to the camera like this.
Who was that? What was that event for?
It was a debate, presidential debate, and he was showing that.
A lot of crazy things are happening in Korea. Like not just Park Geun-hye, like 7 years ago.
Yeah,
that was just 7 years ago when she was literally part of a cult. And
you mean talking about the? I don't know whether.
Hey, look, Koreans are very susceptible to cults. I've seen it many times. Koreans,
and
we are.
then you see this obvious corruption with Yoon Suk-yeol. And then you see this assassination attempt on who was it? Lee.
Lee Jae-myung.
Lee Jae-myung. Yeah, there was literally an assassination attempt on a presidential candidate.
Lee Jae-myung.
And it's just kind of like something as crazy is going on in Korea.
Yeah, I mean, Korean politics is crazy, like any other country. But
I think when you see so many kind of weird things happening at the top. BTS is like not just, a big thing in Korea. It's a global phenomenon.
When you talk about, you're saying that Deep State might have took over some of the entertainment business, even in Korea.
Because look at what happened when anti-Asian hate was going on. They just like, come to the White House, BTS.
They did.
And you'll solve it.
Yeah.
And then they just said some random stuff that didn't do anything.
They did.
And see, that's how the Deep State kind of operates.
What I'm saying is I kind of agree with what you're saying because if you watch many of the K-pop groups' video, there's a lot of those, Deep State-ish.
Oh, like what? What
they show. So there's this red. I don't even want to name names, but You know, like the all-seeing eye.
Yeah.
Thing.
The Eye of Horus.
They do those kind of
Isn't that like a Hindu sort of thing?
signals, and they also do.
Oh wait, this is.
What do you call?
Are you talking about like Illuminati stuff or?
Yeah, there's one Red Velvet video that shows kind of like a pizza delivery, but it was very odd. It was very, it's kind of like it's not, you know that feeling that's very awkward. It's not even about a love story. It's
just something that's like put in there, and you're just like, why is that in there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the lyrics is saying just one thing, but the video is showing all these odd signs. Even the music video, the one that I watched, what was that? New Jeans video that I was talking about. OMG, that video looks odd to me too. It's kind of odd. I mean, it's in a mental hospital.
Yeah, I've never.
Yeah, but anyway,
seen it before. What do you Illuminati confirmed?
Illuminati confirmed.
Look at you on the screen. It says Illuminati confirmed. Anyway, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So all right.
So and I think one of the videos, even I don't know. I'm not confirming it, but I saw one of the websites that showed BTS member wearing a shoe that has a all-seeing eye on his shoe or something. I don't know. It might be wrong. I mean, wrong info.
Some people just do that because some people do that just because it is like a conspiracy thing, and just to like it's kind of like a troll.
Probably
the meta is to like lead cool. into
like this. What do
it's
they
like
do?
When was it Sex Pistols when they like didn't they wear like a Nazi
Sex
sign
Pistols
or something?
Is like in the 60s
70s
right?
or whatever.
70s.
Didn't they wear like a Nazi thing or whatever? And it was just like it was more to like be rebellious rather than actually believing in Nazism. And then a Korean artist got in trouble because they wore the same shirt, not knowing what the entire story behind it was.
Yeah, but
Sid Vicious, was it? I don't know.
Yeah, Sid Vicious was the vocalist, right?
Yeah.
A wrestler?
No, that Sid Vicious wrestler named himself.
Oh, yeah.
But after Sex Pistols vocalist.
Look up Sid Vicious Nazi, like shirt or whatever.
But do you get that feeling when you watch K-pop music, Doug?
Go to images.
I gotta change back to English.
Wait, what?
Douglas, did you get that kind of feeling like the deep state has been creeping in the K-pop? Because many people have been talking about even SM artists.
I think it's just like more obvious
music videos.
That K-pop and K-dramas, whatever, they're becoming more and more Americanized.
They are.
That to me is like already evidence of deep state influence. Like, yes, like obviously ostensibly it's to sell to American people. Like but it's also to influence American people.
Even Parasite, did you feel that there's a lot of Hollywood influence
I think it probably... I think the Hollywood side is a little less, but I think it's starting to. I think they see the... I think it's how the deep state operates, in my opinion, or like big money or big corporate interests, are that they don't like start from the beginning. They see something that's on the rise and successful, and then they're like, hey, if you want to play in the big money market, if you want to play in Hollywood, if you want to play in music here in America, let us buy your whatever. Let us let our advisors come in.
I think that's what's going on.
Let our people come in and give you tips on how to make it in America. But while you are being successful in America, you're also pushing their intended message.
So do they make a deal, you think? You heard about these rituals, right?
I don't think it's that crazy.
When John Cena came out on the Academy Awards a couple months ago, he had to be pretty much all naked, and what they're saying is that he was doing this Hollywood ritual of shame ritual. And then if you do that, they give you a big deal. Like you heard about Dave Chappelle talked about it. Did you hear? That if you cross-dress...
You're talking about Cat Williams, I think, not Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle also talked about it. Cat Williams also said
right.
that
So
too.
I think for individual artists in America, that could be the case. But I think when you're dealing with another country and corporate
execs... You can't go that far, you think?
I think it's more about like manipulating them without them knowing it. It's just like to these executives in Korea, they're like, oh yeah, of course I want to make money in America. Of course I want to make American dollars.
So they don't even know about it. They just do it.
They might like have a suspicion, but they're like, I'm making so much money, I don't care. Like, why do I care about what American people think or whatever? Like, give me that money.
Because I see a lot of like lesbianism going on in K-pop. Yeah. Before that was like a completely taboo thing in Korea, and some of the codes. And there's a lot of secret codes. I don't even know what it means, but probably if you really dig into it, they want people to dig into it. I think there's some kind of
Because that's the other thing too. When they're promoting this 4B movement, right, in Korea, you know, like how it's talked about in the West.
Which one?
4B movement.
Oh no, what is that?
Oh, wow.
So exactly, you don't even know about this, and you're Korean, and you cover Korea, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 4B movement apparently is this movement in South Korea where women are refusing to date men entirely.
It's
No
here
sex
right
with
now.
men.
비섹스, 비출산, 비연애, 비혼.
Oh, okay.
To my understanding, there's a very, very small movement. But in American media, they're blowing it up to be like, oh, this is why they're not having kids in South Korea.
It seems like liberal American women.
Liberal American women. They're making the conclusion that
They're saying
because
South Korean men are so...
because
So what?
South Korean men are so misogynistic,
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Korean women are not even like having sex with
Yeah,
them.
that's completely crazy.
Because you know why?
That
I have a Korean mom, and you know, like for them to say that their generation was more sexually promiscuous than this generation is fucking total lunacy. It's total retarded nonsense. So the Western the way they try to look at things is through their own lens of like, I hate men, so they must hate men too, and therefore they're not even having sex with them. But, you know who it is? It's the lesbians and the femcells. You know, these are feminine incels or
female incels.
Yeah, the people who are way too ugly. It's not that they're divesting from men. It's that men don't want them at all, and they're angry about it, but they're saying, oh, it's my choice that I'm not having sex with them because men suck. But really, they're all femcells or lesbians. And this is like kind of like a trend that's
even
been...
the birth rate going down, that's just
economic.
That's a phenomenon all over the world, not just specifically.
Especially
I think
Japan,
South Korea is a little bit worse too, but yeah, Japan
all the Western
too.
countries.
All the Western countries are like that, and I think Africa is actually their birth rate is way higher than.
And India as well.
Yes.
And, you know, they...
So I do worry that South Koreans always look... when they read these articles that's coming out of the Western media, you know, I worry about it because many of them worship. I tell my audience all the time.
American
many
liberalism.
of them worship American liberal media. They consider New York Times like the Bible, like the gospel.
Yeah, so
CNN. I worry about
wouldn't you say those people are... liberal establishments, BITCHES.
I don't want to use that. I feel sorry.
But
for
they
them.
are control. You would say there is a measure of control there, right? You would say that
Without
like
a doubt,
I think from the
significant portion of the population in Korea is like, oh, American liberalism is this progressive thing that's going to help us and save us.
Something like that.
And
so they
it's almost become a religion to them.
Exactly.
I think his main issue as someone who was born and raised in Korea and is, you know, Gen X, just the idea of calling a people of a nation as bitches. Because how do you say bitch in Korean?
Beach.
I don't even know.
Keseki.
Well, wait, say that again?
Keseki?
No, kezeki
That's
is kind of
more
like that's more like a cussing word, you know, when you're trying to argue.
Son of
with
a bitch,
somebody.
right?
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Dog, yeah, bastard, whatever. Anyway.
Chashi.
Anyway, but in Korean it can come out. Korean cuss words are pretty harsh, compared to American.
When you say chashik, it sounds cute, man.
Chashi. Shiba.
You know, there's a video you put on Twitter once where you're like, I forgot who you were saying it to, but you were like cussing somebody out in a Twitter video. You remember that?
Yeah.
And you were like cussing at him in Korean, like "Shiba's like yeah" and all this. Do you remember that?
A little bit.
Do you still have that?
I don't know.
I wanna
Somewhere.
find that. You were really angry too. You looked so angry. Were you?
No, it was like I was just like acting.
You were acting.
I'm an actor.
So you were acting the angry face.
Oh, do you still consider yourself an actor?
I mean, I have I don't lose the skill that I had before, I guess.
Do you think if you would have made it big in Hollywood,
maybe I would be part of the deep
probably
state.
You would not have been a communist. I think you would have
possible.
been.
I don't deny that. I think that
You wouldn't have had time to learn about it.
Yeah, exactly. I would already be
completely into the system.
In the system, right?
But you didn't have that anti-establishment tendency prior to the COVID.
I think I always had the anti-establishment tendency. It's just that
because you have made Just Dug before.
He was libertarian
pre-pandemic, right? That came out pre-pandemic. So I think you were kind of going against the liberal
like
media.
When you see my show, it's actually kind of like a critique of Hollywood and how obviously racist it is, especially to Asian people.
We enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it. The scene where you're like about to masturbate or whatever, like, was that necessary? You were measuring or something, right?
Well, no, he was masturbating.
It's funny because, like, at the time, this was like after Girls was out or whatever, and my director was like, "We need to go even further. We need to show your actual dick on screen." I was like, my mom's gonna be watching.
The director really said that?
The guy really tried to get you to show your penis on screen?
No, I mean, like, he was kind of joking.
What was his name? It was
just kind of like, we got to go real. We got to go.
What's the director's name?
Stan Chen.
Chen.
I mean, he wasn't serious, but
if I
was just like, my mom's gonna watch this. I don't want.
If I find the video of you cussing, can we play it?
Sure, I guess.
Because I have it.
All right, whatever.
So you can hear how he.
Can you airdrop or?
Oh yeah, let me airdrop it to this.
You saved it?
Yeah.
Wait, you actually saved it on your phone? That's weird, bro.
No, because I thought it was.
Fan.
I'm a fan of yours, man.
Are you?
You know when the video's from?
Apparently, I can't call people retarded on this show.
It's from June 2022.
I don't fucking know. I made a lot of content.
That's pretty harsh, right?
Who were you saying that to?
I don't know.
To one of the tweets?
Yeah, one of my.
Oh, so you can.
Maybe you were saying it to a friend. Okay, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and so actually, I have a question then. Since you said you were just acting there, a lot of times, like when we were doing the documentary, when we were working on the documentary, we'd have like Zoom meetings, right? With like the production assistant, the editor, and all this, and then Doug would be on Zoom from his home in Santa Monica, or even in the office. And at some points, Doug would just start screaming and yelling and like all raging
during the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, and I'd be like, I don't know if he's acting or if this is for real. You were acting, right?
No, I wasn't acting.
So that's not acting. Okay.
Yeah. I'm passionate about the Korean American community. I'm passionate about the Asian American community. I think there should be no apologies.
Pound your fist. Yeah.
I think probably,
I'm not a crook.
Yeah. Second generation, because you two are second gens, right? I think.
Where were you born? New York?
New York, yeah.
Okay.
Yonkers, New York.
I think second gens, they probably, you two go through a lot. You see these also racial tension. Something that most of the first generation wouldn't.
We live it.
Not only that, I think I have a more unique perspective because I've been all around the country.
How many states did you live here?
I lived only in like New York,
and
North Carolina, and California.
Oh, for Duke.
North Carolina. Yeah.
But I also have, cousins all over the country that I visited in Georgia, Chicago, Texas. The only place I really haven't been to in America is probably the Northwest. I drove across the country when I moved here. So I've actually been to like South Dakota and whatever.
You've been to South Dakota?
But what's your experience in Korea? Because I lived in Korea for 2 years.
I haven't lived in Korea, but I visited 4 or 5 times. One time to try to arbitrage Bitcoin in 2017.
The kimchi premium, right?
Yeah.
I made money from that.
I did not make money. I've lost money.
Oh, shit.
Was that kind of a thing? What year was it?
Oh, it was awesome. It was like 2017, 2018.
Unfortunately, I ran into the problem that I didn't anticipate, which was Korean customs.
Yeah, exactly. That was an issue. You could buy Bitcoin for like, let's say 10,000 here, but in Korea it would be like 14,000. So you buy it here and transfer to a wallet in Korea.
Wait, how did you profit from it?
Oh yeah, and then
you needed to have a man in the middle. Who's your man in the middle?
I had a man in the middle, and then there's like limits of how much you can send out. So there's like all these people working and like Anyway,
I'm very familiar with that. Unfortunately.
So you never lived in? What's the longest period you stayed in Korea, even for like a
with
my
family? Even?
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably like a month with my family
in Korea.
Yeah.
And this is when you were a minor, probably.
This is probably when I was like 9.
No, but as an adult. What's the longest period of time you spent in Korea?
I mean, I guess 2001, when I was 17.
17, okay, still.
I think I spent a month in Korea.
How about since turning 18? What's your longest stay been? Like a week?
2 weeks for that Bitcoin thing.
And then you were just working right there. You weren't
For
even...
the first week, I was doing it, and then I pulled up myself, and then the next week, I just kind of like chilled.
And were you chilling with other Koreans?
Mostly with my cousins and this esports guy that I met, this esports coach that I met.
And they all live in Seoul or around Seoul?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have fun? Did you go to like clubs? Did you meet did you go out on any dates with Korean girls?
I went to one. Did I go to a club? No, I don't think I even went to a club. I was just so stressed about the Bitcoin stuff that I didn't even think about club.
And you don't really drink, right?
Yeah. I just kind of...
You don't drink?
No, not really.
You were never... You're a teetotaler? Are you a teetotaler? You never drink?
I do drink from time to time.
Do you smoke weed?
Yes, I'm trying to kick that a little bit right now.
Oh, how often do you smoke? Like daily or?
I used to, I pretty much smoke daily, but I'm trying to.
Like you actually smoke joints or blunts or pipes or bongs or vapes or?
Vapes, but this was just like end of the night. I just needed to. So basically, over the pandemic, I would get really stressed and anxious. So at night, I just be like, I need to sleep. So I just like smoke up and then go to sleep. And then because like pandemic went on for a while, this kind of like bad cycle happened over and over again, and just kind of like trying to cut it now.
Okay, we got to start wrapping up. Have you ever done mushrooms or acid?
I don't know, FBI. I'm not going to answer any of these questions.
I've done mushrooms and acid.
Well, okay. Well, I prefer not to give my Schedule 1 record on record.
But you know, you're an open communist. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
You're right. That is the toughest of them all.
Have you done ecstasy at a rave?
Yeah. I mean, I talked about MDMA in a whatever. But yes, fine. Yes. For the record, I have taken LSD before. I don't really do it much because it was the most harrowing experience of my life.
Were you alone?
No, I was with a friend.
Did you? One friend.
Friend and his wife, and then his wife's friend.
Oh, you were all together.
Yeah, and I was the only one doing it.
Oh, you were the only. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, I can imagine that's quite terrifying.
And then I did shrooms afterwards, but never to the level of that LSD. Because that was 100.
Yeah, America and Korea is really different in this sense too. Like in Korea, you would just get immediately jailed if you talk about it. You know that, right?
Yeah.
But
wait,
here,
even if you
get
talk
jailed
about
just for talking about it?
I think you can even be investigated.
I mean, investigated.
So.
Yeah,
you're
suspicious, but
I don't know. I think it was like one of the most taboo thing. Like even.
I mean, that all comes from.
But in America, it's so free. They don't even.
That's because
they don't even crack down on it.
That's because all of Asia was pretty much. All of Asia was pretty much colonized by the opioid crisis.
Yeah, so I understand the drug thing in Asia.
I mean, super conservative, I think, in that sense, Korea.
I mean, but we used to be okay.
I actually approve of.
But I heard that recently there's a trend of people doing a lot of drugs, underground, like in clubs. That's happening in Korea right now.
I hear drugs are quite common in Korea.
That's what
maybe
I heard.
you told me that.
No, that's.
But I heard they're not great quality. I heard they're.
No, I always assumed. I heard from somebody else, but I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I was there, it was really, just.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff happened in the last 10 years.
You can't even.
I feel like a lot of this
you
stuff...
don't even have these conversations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't even have these kind of conversations.
Hey, would you be down? We have a future episode where we can drink or smoke or whatever.
Elon Musk.
Like he'll have soju. You can have soju.
Soju, yeah.
I'll have.
Do I do the Elon Musk?
Yeah, he just went. Yeah, Tesla comes crashing.
He didn't inhale.
It didn't look like he inhaled. It looked like.
Yeah, I heard that Elon Musk does ketamine, and
probably. I don't deny it.
Ketamine's not illegal, I think. So.
I think it is illegal. So I think the board was having issue with that. It came out on Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal was giving.
Is it Schedule 2
at
least?
They want to bring down Elon Musk. That was the impression that I was getting when I read the article.
That's what it is. It's just like
because he's kind of against the deep state, right? In a way, I don't know whether
you know what it is. It's like every famous person or every celebrity or every politician is doing a lot of this stuff, right?
I think so.
But it's only when they want to remove them that they go after them.
They go after them, and I think one of the board members said she quit because he kept doing this. I don't know. I think
that's just...
Anyway, LA Times headline: the legal psychedelic ketamine is. I didn't know it was a psychedelic. Ketamine is a fast-acting treatment for depression if you have the money. Okay, whatever.
Didn't he die from ketamine too? Matthew Perry?
Well, he passed out and kind of slipped into the bathtub he was in, so I think he drowned because...
He drowned.
Okay. I've never done it, but I've read, like...
Wasn't he also, like, kind of depressed or whatever?
Well, he's had a drug problem for a while.
No, Matthew Perry is an alcoholic. So he said he started drinking since he was, like, 12 years old, and...
Yeah.
he can't function without it.
Okay,
Like that.
so, and now we come to the conclusion
It's already 1 hour.
of
Just
another.
fly by.
Doug has to go to Document Coffee Bar and then have dinner. Where are you going to have dinner?
I don't know.
What's your food of choice?
Wait, you know M Grill's right there, right?
Do you
What's
also,
M Grill?
It's the Brazilian barbecue churrascaria.
Oh, I've been there before. I think.
Yeah, you could go there.
I mean, it was okay when I went there.
Do you prefer communist food over Western food?
Borscht.
We're just wondering.
Well, I don't have a lot of communist food to sample from because I live in a capitalist country. But
I don't even know what communist food. Oh, Chinese food. Yeah.
I will say Vietnam, like
oh, you were there.
Pho.
They give you a banh mi sandwich on the airline, like the local airline, and it just like looks like a regular sandwich.
It's on a French roll. Yeah,
but
You tried it.
But
That's
I
good.
had it, and it was like pretty good for like an airplane food type thing.
For an airplane food. Okay.
I was like, oh, okay, communism.
Right on, right?
Okay. Well, I hope you have a good dinner tonight, whatever you have. Have you had lunch?
No.
Okay. I haven't
guess
eaten
it'll
today
be-
either.
Me neither. Me
I'm
neither.
so starving. You haven't eaten today?
I didn't.
What are you going to have for
because
dinner?
No, I have my lunch box. I didn't eat it yet, so I'm going to
okay.
eat lunch
You
box
have a
afterwards.
lunch box?
No, I bring it usually on Monday because I
Wait,
have
but
to.
like it's
I have
not.
to
It's like a
shoot
bag,
6
right?
episodes.
It's not a box.
It's a literal box, right?
Yeah, it's
Not like a kid's
it's
lunch pail.
It's a 보온 도시락. I don't know what do you call that. You know the
Like
the
a-
warmer. You know
Yeah.
the zajirushi.
It's an Asian. What
Oh, it's
Asian?
like a Japanese one
Korean
of those bento
also
boxes.
use that too. No, it's not that bento. It's kind of like a. I don't know what
Anyway.
to call it. 보온병. 보온병. What is it? 보온병.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's
anyway.
a warmer. Yeah, it's a lunch warmer thing.
What's in there?
Je ne sais
I don't
pas.
even know. I didn't.
You didn't even open it?
I didn't
Wow.
open it yet. So
Okay.
I'm starving too. You're
All right.
starving.
Yeah, I'm
He's
so.
starving.
I haven't eaten shit either. All right. Well, you
Okay.
know, we were going to talk about.
overtime.
Oh, we did talk about BTS.
We did talk about BTS. I think we
Okay.
touched upon as much as we can touch upon it.
We covered that. We covered
But
that.
it's interesting. We want to follow up on this. I want to know where this goes.
Hey, Michael, can you come up with the title and headline for this? I did the first one.
All right. Okay.
I want to see what you come up with, and then let David.
Because we
in.
talked about.
We talked about
Bitches.
Fuck. What did we talk about? I already forgot.
Retard. The
Oh,
no retard
I think we
rule.
should talk about HYBE.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
Apparently
Put that.
there's a no retard.
I think if we
no,
put
no
if
Korean
we,
on Korean
if
retard
we
violence.
put like high BTS, it will get a lot of clicks. I think you know, then more than
Just basically say BTS part of a cult? Question. And then we'll get like
we're gonna get a lot of hate mail.
yeah, that's just the entire.
Yeah.
You don't say anything else.
Yeah,
BTS.
That's
a
good.
cult?
A cult?
Question
yeah.
mark.
That's good. That's a good title.
Oh, we can use the word retarded on YouTube.
You know what?
That's a good title.
Elon Musk just said retard on Twitter. So
Yeah, I mean, you
Retard.
know,
Retard. French.
I don't have that much of an issue, but because I think YouTubers they talk about it all the time.
But
But
I
probably
understand.
on
I
TV
understand his
case,
point.
yeah,
No
but,
Korean
yeah,
on Korean
okay.
violence, especially we're friendly on this show.
Yeah, and you're the youngest man. You're the maknae. You know how maknaes behave, right? In front of him.
We're in America, okay?
See, exactly.
I knew that. See,
We're in
I
America.
told you, right?
Keep that
He was
Korean.
gonna use that
Keep
card.
that Korean
Kimmy-
shit back home.
Mr. Kim Chil Sung here. Suddenly
Yeah.
he's American.
You know,
okay.
North Korea really cares about that too,
I'm
right?
Douglas Kim.
Hey.
now.
Korea cares about that.
You don't care about your hyungs? We are your
I'm
hyungs.
Douglas Kim now.
I knew that.
We are hyungder.
Michael, didn't I tell you he's gonna
No,
use
yeah,
that
yeah.
card?
We do.
Respect is earned in this country.
All right, you're gonna always use as something advantageous to you. I'm gonna use
America.
advantageous.
Hey.
Americans are great, right?
Inside these
became
walls,
pro-America.
it's Korean rules apply inside these walls.
I think
Yeah.
so.
This is a safe space within America for Koreans. This is a Korean space
shit.
within America.
Now
This
you're
guy.
나온다.
Yeah.
Now he's cussing and
Can't
now
yoke
he
to your
doesn't
hyungs,
like the
man.
system.
Okay.
You don't like the system?
비켜봐, 시발 말거리야.
What? I didn't understand the last part.
비켜봐. Do you know what 비켜봐 means?
Get out of the way.
Yeah. And then? What?
시발 말거리야. I'm gonna say
Shibar
I'm gonna say
말거리야.
shibar. Never mind.
Shibar means
it's
F,
it's a
you know,
stupid.
I'm gonna say.
It's a stupid thing. I made up back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, 오늘은 여기까지, as Korean Englishman says.
Yeah.
And
All right.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
다음에
awesome.
let's finish in Korean.
오케이. 이번 에피소드는 여기서 마치도록 하겠습니다. 다음 에피소드에 더글러스와 함께 그리고 마이클 김 CEO와 함께 여러분과 함께 하도록 하겠습니다.
네.
예, 감사합니다.
감사합니다.